Okay, this is our next video on fastening work together. For this video, I'm going to use some nails. So what I've got here, I've got some 30mm long panel pins to fasten my work together. So I'm going to get two nails and put one sort of either side. Just so they look nice and neat, what I've done is I've got a 9mm square, set my tri-square, and then from the end, measuring in 9mm there and there. And the idea behind this is just to get my nails so they look even and not massively wonky, and makes it look pretty. So I've got an X marks a spot here, and X marks a spot here. I've got to fasten those nails into the wood. The easiest way to do this, I always find, is a butt joint, which is the joint we're going to do, is when you put two bits of wood together. And because we're going to use nails to hold it, I'm going to put the nails in using a pin hammer. So a pin hammer is small wooden handle, usually with a head on top. You've got a thin side for sort of just gentle tapping, and the round part here. And these differences with these two: this one's got a bigger head and weighs more. This one's slightly smaller with a smaller head. Some people prefer the small one, some people prefer the bigger one. I personally prefer the bigger one just because it's a bit more weight, but it's very much up to you. What I'd always suggest before we do any nailing is to gently tap the nail in so that it's held tight. So holding the nail, holding the hammer by its bottom, we're not strangling it around the neck, or holding it by the bottom. Tap the nail in. So what that does, it just means I'm not having to hold things when it's sliding around. Some people don't like holding a nail because they get a bit scared, which is fair enough. What I do is I get a scrap bit of wood, tend to sort of use a sander or file or bandsaw, just cut a bit of a slope on there, cut a slot in the middle. What I can do with that is put my nail inside the slot, and it's a bit like a pair of fingers. So just holding it tight, position that over my mark, and then tap it down. Pull it backwards, give it a wiggle, and it pulls out. Okay, so by doing that, my nails are in. I then get a piece of wood, open the vise, put the wood on top. This way you got to make sure you really tighten down. This vise is only actually put here for the filming, and you see what happens if I start tightening here on this side. What happens is it starts to twist. So sometimes what you need to do with a vise is it's called racking, where it twists round. You may need just to put another bit of wood in the vise, dropping your wood in the vise. So you put one side in there just to stop the vise twisting. Okay, this ain't, as I said, it's only here for filming. Put it on top. I'm making sure that this part here is flush and level. I'm holding it either side. I can just tap it down. And by tapping it down, get distracted by my clamp pad off the table, I can put the nail in. Oh, but I've bent this nail. So I've bent the nail.
Someone's at front door.
Okay, yeah, so I've bent the nail. What I want to do is just tap it straight. So I can tap the nail straight and then carry on tapping. So my nail is back in the wood. So I can fix that problem. On a piece of wood this wide, with some glue in the joint, two nails will hold that quite well. I wouldn't put any more than two nails in really, because what would happen is it starts to split the wood. I'm going to put a third nail in. I'm going to show you why in a second, just because I can use it as a way of demoing. So I'm going to put an extra nail on the middle. So I've got another nail in there. Say I've bent this nail and I need to remove that nail, I would use a pair of pincers. So pincers, got a curved end, you get hold of the nail, and what you do is using this curved end, we can roll them. We can use that rolling motion to pull the nail out. Okay, so the nail was removed. Problem is with using nails on wood like this, is it will very easily pull off because there's no grip, and that's where screws are far better at holding work still. So that's using nails. If I was to move over to using screws, again I'm going to start off by marking, and the idea behind this is just let me be fairly even with the work, and it looks, keep it looking smart. So I've got my marks there. I'm going to put the two bits together and put it in the vise. I'm going to start off with, put my safety glasses on. I've got a 3mm drill bit. I'm going to screw down, drill down. So I'm keeping the drill straight, making sure the drill bit's tight, and drill down into the wood, and keeping it spinning, I can lift it out. So I've drilled down. The screws I'm going to use are what are called countersink screws. So they've got a slopey bit on this side. And to get that to work, I'm going to use a countersink drill bit. So I put my countersink drill bit on, put my hand on top. I'm creating sort of a little V effectively around the edge of the screw hole, so I can get my screw, I can put it on, I can twist it in. And what you can feel the resistance with that, because what you want is the wood to grip on the thread of the screw. So what I've done, I've put my hand over the top, I'm twisting the screw in place. Okay, so what I can also do, I want to show you a second hole. I'm going to show you a different drill bit, on this second hole. So if you've got one of these bits, these are like a combination bit. So it's a drill bit with a countersink bit built in. We've got these in school. You can put your hand on. Okay, remember, I'm not blowing the dust. To blow the dust, it goes in the air, it gets into my mouth. What I can then do, I can always, if I've got a drill with a screwdriver bit in, put it into there, put my hand on top, and screw down. So that is two different joints, a screw joint and a nail joint. The screws are far stronger because you've got the thread grips in the wood. The nails just don't really work nowadays. I think in the days before screws, you used to use a lot of nails. Now screws and drills and stuff are so everywhere, it's just so much easier to use screws, they've got more strength.